are still with me. That's Angela, Daniel, and Wade. Wade asked about 1 through 4. You basically need to know SOHCAHTOA. And what those ratios are. So for like number 1, if you're trying to find the sine of angle A, sine function has opposite and hypotenuse. So the sine of A is going to be opposite over hypotenuse, which is 9 over 15, which will reduce to 3 over 5. Or you can say it's 0.6. Either one of those works. And all you're doing for 2, 3, and 4 is you're finding what those ratios are. You can express it as a fraction or as a decimal.
Can you do number 5?
Sure.
Thanks.
Number 5 says find the value of the variables, round decimal answers to the nearest tenth. Okay, so this is where you have to use that trig ratio. This is where you have to use the calculator. Okay, and it says round decimals to the nearest tenth, so keep that in mind. So use the angle it gives you. It gives you 62 degrees. Now, in reference to that angle, if that is your reference angle, what side is side X? This side.
Opposite.
That would be your opposite side. What about this side? What is that?
Adjacent.
Adjacent. So we don't even have the hypotenuse side. We don't even know what that is. We don't even have a variable. So which ratio uses the opposite and adjacent?
Tangent.
Tangent. Okay, so the tangent of 62 degrees equals X, which is opposite, over 25, which is adjacent. So now we just set up cross multiplication. 1 times X is easy, that's just X. And then in your calculator, you have to put in 25 times the tangent of 62. And remember, round to the nearest tenth. So if we go to the calculator, I'm going to clear out what I've got. And I said, let's see, 25. So let's make sure we're in the right mode. Degree mode, great. I'm going to float to 1 decimal because it said to round to the nearest tenth. So we are going to do 25 times the tangent of 62. And that gives you 47. So that would be your answer.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Guys, what other questions do you have? Someone in another class asked about 15 and 16.
Yeah, I had those questions too. Or actually, no. Oh, yeah, 15 and 16, but also 12 and 14.
Okay, we'll do those. Let's do 12 and 14 and do 15 and 16. Okay, so 12 is a word problem. It says you are 50 feet from the screen at a drive-in movie. Have you guys ever been to a drive-in movie theater?
No.
Those still exist?
But I want to.
They're kind of cool. They're very old-fashioned. There's one in Blue Ridge. I think it's called the Swan Drive-In. Anyway, they're kind of neat, but there's not a lot of them around. So number 12, you're 50 feet from the screen at a drive-in movie. Okay, so we are 50 feet from the screen. The angle of elevation at the top of the screen is 58 degrees. So basically what that means The angle of elevation was here. I'm drawing with a stylus on my computer screen, so I'm doing my best. Am I recording? Did you guys see me hit record? Yes,
Yeah.
good. Just making sure because I want to these will be some good questions to send out for people who couldn't make the meeting. So that's the angle of elevation. It's also right here. So that angle was 58 degrees. Okay, and then your question says, how tall is the screen? So this would be your X. That's what you're trying to find. Okay, so if we use this angle 58 degrees and we use what we're given the opposite side, so X is the opposite side, 50 is the adjacent side. Can you see that? I know it's kind of hard to read with my,
Okay. So
hold
I labeled X as the adjacent, not the opposite.
let me redraw this. I didn't have enough space. So that's what we're given. You're 50 feet from a movie screen. The angle of elevation, which is basically right here, is the same as this angle here. Let me see who's trying to join. Nathan. Okay. Okay, so you have to look from this angle here. That's your reference angle. And looking at that, the opposite side is X. The adjacent side is 50. So which trig ratio deals with opposite and adjacent?
Tangent.
Tangent. So yeah, the tangent ratio is opposite over adjacent. So the tangent of 58 degrees equals opposite, which is our X, over adjacent, which was that 50 feet. And just cross multiply. 1 times X is easy. That's just X. And then you're going to have 50 times the tangent of 58. When you do that, you end up getting 80. So the movie screen is 80 feet tall. Does that help?
Yeah, I realized my mistake, so I labeled X as the adjacent and not the opposite.
Okay, did you put your angle up here at the top? Daniel?
Yeah, I left it at the bottom, but
Okay.
I think just because like it was X, that's what I was looking for, so I labeled that as
Gotcha.
A.
Gotcha. Okay, and then you said question 14. Okay, question 14, a chairlift on a ski slope has an angle of elevation of 28 degrees and covers a total distance of 4,640 feet. What is the vertical height covered by the chairlift? I'm going to make my own picture because I don't have enough space there. Okay, so a chairlift on a ski slope has an angle of elevation of 28 degrees and covers a total distance. Okay, so this is your distance here. 4,640 feet. what is the vertical height covered by the lift chair? That's going to be here. And that's our right triangle. And this is the angle of elevation. Remember, it's here or here. That angle is 28 degrees. Okay, so this is your ski slope, that hypotenuse side. You see why I put the 4,000 number there. And then X is what we're trying to find. We're trying to find the vertical height of covered by the lift chair. So this is your chair. You go down at the ski slope, and then this is how tall it is. All right, so looking at 28 degrees, if that's your reference angle, X would be opposite. This side would be your hypotenuse side. So which trig ratio has opposite and hypotenuse?
Sine.
Sine. So the sine of 28 degrees equals opposite, which is X, over hypotenuse, which is this large number, 4,640. Again, cross multiply. So that's going to be 4,640 times the sine of 28. You should get 2,178.3 feet. Okay. We have 15 and 16. Do you want to do both or just pick one?
Try one.
Which,
Yeah,
well,
Oh.
So let me so what we've done here, we have used an angle and a side to find another side. And you have to do that twice on number 15. On number 16, I like this question because you have to find the angles, and we haven't done that yet. I haven't showed you in the review how to find an angle yet, and I think that would be better served for the review. So if we look at question 16, it says solve the right triangle. So that means you need 3 angles and 3 sides. When you have all the sides, when you have all the angles, you have essentially solved the right triangle. Round your decimal answers to the nearest tenth. You should have 3 answers for each problem. What I can do, I can go ahead and give you the answers to 15 so you can check that later, and we'll go over 16. So on 15, you're going to need to find that angle V, and that's very easy. You just subtract from 180, and that's 30. MD, that side's going to be 17.62, and VD is going to be 27.41. So you can go back and do those and check your work. Number 16. We have 2 sides of that right triangle already. We have this 12, we have this 17. So what can I use to find the third side? Starts with a P. Guys, you can use
Pythagorean theorem.
Good job. So if you use the Pythagorean theorem here, remember the right angle is always pointing to the hypotenuse. So that's our C. So a squared plus b squared. We're going to have 12 squared plus 17 squared equals x squared. 12 squared is 144. And 17 squared, 289. X squared. Okay, so when you add those, you get 433. And then take the square root. You should get 20.81 as that third side. Okay. So next, we got to find some angles. And you do this using the inverse ratios, the little, when you have your calculator, the little -1 signs, when you have to hit that second button, you have to use the inverse of the trig functions. So do you want to find, so this was angle P, this is angle N, and that's Q. Which one do you want to find first? Do you want to find angle P or angle N? Doesn't matter.
Do P.
Okay, let's find that one. So angle P, you can use basically any ratio you like because we already have all of those sides. You know, this one was 20.81. I'm going to use the ratio that deals with the 12 and the 17 just because there's no decimals. Okay, so looking from angle P, 17 is your opposite, 12 is your adjacent. So which ratio has opposite and adjacent?
Tangent.
So tangent. So the inverse tangent of that ratio of opposite over adjacent, which is 17 over 12, is going to give you your desired angle. So let's look at the calculator. We're going to use the inverse tangent. So you're going to hit your second button and then tangent. And that ratio we found was 17 over 12. So that's 54.8. And this is an angle. So that was angle P. And now the easier part, when you know all three angles add to 180, to find angle N, you can say, okay, 180 minus 90 minus this 54.8. That's going to give you what?
35.2.
So to sum things up, we found three things on this triangle. The first thing we found side PN, and that was 20.81. We found angle P, the measure of angle P is 54.8 degrees. The measure of angle N was 35.2 degrees. So try doing that on number 15. Again, those answers, hold on. Let's go over those answers. Yes, those answers were here. So check that. And again, I can send out a video of this recording if you need to go back and look at that. Did y'all have any other questions for me?
I don't think so.
I think that's it for me.
Nathan, did you have any questions? I'm going to take the silence as a no. All right, so what you have to do today is do those questions 1 through 16 and take a picture and upload it to Canvas.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday.
Bye. See you Monday.
Bye.